a hot drop, but again, starting to really become fond of some of these new places and a lot of different angles of approach. I think that was the biggest thing that they learned when they put out World's Edge was there's a lot of different changes in elevation and the ability to attack from multiple angles in all these buildings. So when they revamped this one, that really kept in mind how they could take a map that had already pre-existed, but kind of add these different changes when these guys have to rotate through, and it's making for a much different approach. Wink, wink. Totally will convince them. Not lying. Smile.
Well, MVP finds themselves on a little bit of action. Gonna go and throw out the Arc Star, see if maybe they can connect off of it. Instead, buying at least some space to work with. Gotta be careful, is on the other side of it. Looks like Team Liquid trying to find a little bit of vision. They've got a lot of range off in the distance. Almost hits that shot, but does not quite connect. Going for a little bit of peekaboo back over towards the doorway. Gotta be careful, though, whenever you got Team Liquid this close, just taking those pot shots.
Yeah, Flanker trying to do whatever he can with that Sentinel. Gold one at that, so not going to waste any shield batteries to charge it up, but still plenty of damage. Referred to kind of as a mini Kraber at times based on how hard it hits. And it's just rewarding having that bolt action when you land those shots, so does have the thermal, should be able to spot him between the trees, but Pawpaw doing a really good job using the deflate and going down low, so should be able to rotate around. And with the return fire on that Skull Piercer, man.
They've got to be so cautious on how they play this. They are so close to the next safe zone, but are being firmly gate kept. Have to see how they opt into responding to this. On the other side of this, you can see Aim Assist has lost one, but they still have Designful and Gentrifying still up and active right now. I'm very curious to see if we're going to see any more sneaky peeks coming through. And oh my god, Unknown is just ripping them apart as they're trying to go for repositions. This guy, Unknown, got a full setup. They've got the high ground advance and are on chase. Crummy has to be careful. Go ahead and instead drop back down and say, all right, maybe that one might be a little bit too aggressive. Retreat back over and got himself a nice little cubby to hide out in as he just narrowly made it away.
I mean, case in point, it's exactly what he was trying to do for the other team, and then he made the play himself and got punished for it. So being on the receiving end of exactly what he's trying to punish another team for, and he's going to have to back off. Aim Assist here, obviously taking quite a bit of damage, but more importantly, Gentrifying did manage to get across with that Wraith phase shift. Shots coming out, 60 damage from the Sentinel. Gonna crack the shields, just seeing if he can peek and see if there's anybody else over on the other side. Having this high ground, able to get it, gets popped by one, but needs to be careful of that peek. Drops him again, those shields going down so quick. Because there's another team down below, but here comes the Gibraltar ult. Probably going to have to move out of this one unless he can find a cheeky angle on the corner.
I think he managed to find himself a little place that he can hide out at. Meanwhile, Designful trying to make sure to apply pressure down on the lower part of this fight. Got Pathfinder going to reposition based off of that. Now going to go ahead and give a little bit more space for Gentrifying to try to capitalize with that high ground. Go ahead and throw out a couple of Arc Stars. See if maybe you can force him back into the firing lines. Gentrifying capitalizes off it. Drops Matt Pickett. Designful has to be careful, though. He doesn't want to over-aggress just quite yet. Still getting shot back over towards the left side. Trying to go ahead and get this one. Connects with a beautiful shot onto it, but trying to retreat back. Gentrifying's trying to provide whatever support can, but too far away right now to get a lot of work in. Trying to get another tap back over towards it, but not going to be able to get the flushes out.
A downfall of only having two players. Gentrifying does a good job of flying cover up top, but at the same time, he was actually trying to push across with that Pathfinder. He wanted high ground still, but because he doesn't grasp the ledge correctly, he ends up falling down and putting himself in a really tough position against 303. So 303 kind of getting gifted a kill here as they found themselves on the receiving end of all those Arc Stars. Not going to work out here as Oi Senpai and the rest just going to rotate through. Need to get to that high ground and try to hopefully force him onto that, but again, HRN nearby as well. And with all this action going down, it's only a matter of time until they punish him for it. 303 with the Mastiff.
That shot was sexy. I could watch that all day. 303, we haven't had a chance to really watch them a ton. But going to go ahead and flush out Aim Assist here. They're presently sitting in 8th on the leaderboard, so still in a comfortable position to make it into the grand finals. They just need to keep up a little bit more pressure. 303 still playing back over on the high ground positions right now. While they're going to go ahead and firmly regroup. And this is a pretty nice control point to play from. We saw the fact that Gentrifying was trying to put in a lot of work up here. But he was they kind of lost one early, so couldn't get the firm defense that they really wanted to get out of it.
Yeah, Hydrodram's a unique one just because there's so many places high and low, but at the same time, there's a lot of open area that you can see here based on where HRN's taking shots. Need to be careful, though, as they do have 303 up above to their left, so need to be careful of how much noise they do make. Luckily, Gibraltar should be able to flush out 303 if they do decide to engage, but that Watson ultimate in the back pocket, so I think 303 is going to be pretty happy up here for quite a while and a lot of places to work with as they go back and forth between these different angles of approach. I think they heard those shots too from HRN, so just kind of peeking down below, seeing if they can spot anybody out.
And this is a big opportunity for HRN. They are right back behind Aim Assist in 12th. So this could be their opportunity to net a lot of points past aim assist and maybe potentially past Superior, move into the top 10 themselves. They have to be very cautious with it, though. A couple of points really is the only thing that's going to separate out, as it's just 7 to move into the top 10 right now, depending on how Superior does inside of the other lobby. But you can see it's going to be HRN under a little bit of pressure now. Have to be careful off of it. Throwable starting to come back inside of it. And go ahead and go for a full rebuild off of it. More looks like he might be the guy going for the peak. They're just going to go ahead and run through the fences, try to play this one out. But it's going to be Roof Koreans just down to a turtle trying to make it away. And that's going to be another point picked up for HRN.
So much crossfire as well. As soon as he gets out that door, you just see tracers from every which direction. Gets caught in the middle of it. So drop down, shots more coming out. Just trying to make this their own base. So they clear out some of these. TSM in the nearby. Going to try to third party this. Bunch of damage coming out from Hal. Able to just land so many Eva shots in the bubble. Allows him to kind of push it even further. Drops down one. You got Aberlelli on the other side on more. So a lot of attack coming in. They've got 3 players left for TSM. Just trying to flush out these kills as there's only 1 player available. But Rogue also nearby, so a lot of action happening in the kill feed. I can't even say it. There's so much action going down. You see simply just dropping down the Watson fence on that portal, and you see it paying off as one comes through immediately. Bopped and goes right back through.
HRN had hopes and dreams to try to accomplish a little bit more, but now simply the last one alive has to go full on defensive mode, trying to get back away from this one. TSM, a firm aggressor up above him, do find themselves a little bit of a safe cubby to hide out in for the time, but praying nobody else chooses to approach back over towards it. Starting to get a little bit of shots. Have to be very careful. It's going to be high ground. Not a lot of places to go down inside the trench, and HRN goes down as well. So this could be opening up a little bit more of an option for Team Superior back over towards Lobby B, but it's going to be 303 Esports trying to rein in a little bit of death back in this high ground position. Not going to connect with enough, but going to do at least force them away from that spot.
Yeah, unfortunate for Oi Senpai. He's just waiting for that loot to be picked up and wants to land the shot to apply some damage, but unable to connect either on the retreat. So, again, nothing to land there as Ziploc Bag's getting an engagement. Just trying to cover this north rotation. Trying to gatekeep their backside, make sure that there's nobody pushing in from behind them. Yo-Yo has some options to play on the other side of this hill as well, but doesn't want to take too low coverage.
Hard shift back down towards the south.
Yeah, needs to be careful on the backside too. More action they take here, the more knowledge they're giving everybody else with the noise. But again, need to secure this backside so they don't get caught rotating. New Brainers on the outside.
Trying to figure out how they're going to make their way through this one. Trying to connect with enough shots. Not going to get a lot out of it. Gonna have to retreat out of that point, but the longer that this goes on, just like you were saying a second ago, Lawler, it means it's going to be that much more difficult. We have 10 teams, 28 still alive. Going to have to charge their way through. Ziploc Bags got themselves a firm defended position, trying to make sure that they do not allow the Wraith to get out of it, but looks like might be able to make it up the hillside. That could provide a little bit of support for the team. A couple of shots now coming through as well, forcing Ziploc Bags back away from that angle. Instead, going to go ahead and retreat back down, use the back wall for cover, and now have to be very cautious as they're starting to spot out a couple other teams that might want to aggress towards them.
Yeah, always an option to kind of retreat back, but at the same time, they're retreating back into teams that have already solidified their spots in there. And you can see exactly why Stompy, as soon as he goes up top, gets actually dropped down. And now he's got to be in trouble from the other ones. Bunch of projectiles coming through and just under so much pressure. So now sandwiched between two teams that they're getting aggressive. New Brainers able to just find him on the corner. This Wraith going to have to phase shift, but they're going to follow him down and not let him go, but actually being protected from another team. So many people overlapping on top here that it looks like that Wraith was actually able to get away.
If you ever want to know what a death funnel looks like, it's when all the teams from the north have to make their way back down in the safe zone, and there's too many choke points, so there's nowhere to go. Gobble trying to stay alive right now, hunkering down in defensive positions, but all of these spots back around this point are just going to have so many teams converging around this location. The walls just make it to where there's not a lot of different places to go, and everybody's going to have to fight it out. New Brainers are on the backside of this one, still trying to make their way back over towards the zone. Going to go ahead and throw out a zip line, trying to make their way up, but not going to get a lot of it. Just one member up. Gobble runs back out, trying to get a little bit more. Tries to get this one, at least going to go ahead and get the flush onto it, but at what cost? Still just trying to survive, trying to find some type of sneaky angle, tries to make it back towards the portal, does manage to get back over there.
Love the fact that he had the time to just kind of crouch a couple times in front and be like, yeah, I don't know what to do either, man. Like, good luck. And then he just kind of pieces out. So able to get thrown on the backside. Yeah, pretty much. It was just like a common agreement of like, okay, man, like good luck, firm handshakes, and backs out. So TSM still alive here on the top side, able to pick up a couple more after that initial fight and push from Imperial Howl and the rest of the guys. But They do spot one up top. Gonna end up using that portal on the outside. Need to be careful though. There's a team coming in through double doors. Just checking their angles. Energy over the top. A team that's been playing super well today. Extremely consistent towards the top. And #1 overall on week 4. But that bubble providing the cover that is absolutely crucial. Gonna move in and see if they can get some shields, and actually being rewarded for it is Nafin.
Got to be a little bit careful. iShiny does manage to take down reps back behind this. Imperial Hal, the last one up, pretty close towards the center of the present safe zone, but gonna have to make his way back over towards the east. Gonna have to be very cautious with it. A big firefight happening back over towards the north. We were kind of telling you about how that was gonna break down. So now down to just 6 teams, 14 alive. Quick jumps around. You can see realizing in a very bad spot. Shiny, the last one up for his team as well. Pretty close to the same location. Gonna have to make his way back over towards the east. Trying to see if he can spot out anybody, but it's gonna be NRG. We talked about these guys like the hunt, and they're starting to spot out all of these stragglers and inflicting damage on every single one they can. If they can take out a couple of these solos that are hiding out there, it's gonna give them so much more territory to work with.
Yeah, need to be careful. Nafin on the back end side. Energy poised to take yet another one. TSM and Shiny were both in a position where they were solos, but Nafin just not missing shots with that flat line, able to crack the shields on one before they get away. Well, it does take some damage from a different angle. Need to be careful, but that is information they're able to play with. Team over here to the side. Just trying to get whatever they can to get ready for this late game. The next couple of seconds here. 10 seconds for the 5th circle. As Sentinels, a lot of open ground to cover before they move in.
You can see they did not want to do this. There's not a lot of good safe positions that they can work with. NRG still continuing to go after anything that moves right now. They spot out a big fight that's going off towards the side of it. Gibraltar Shield's going to go down. Might buy a little bit more space, but you can see they're doing a good job of controlling the territory in the next safe zone. They're trying to stall out, force everybody else to fight. Do the work for them so that way every single time a fight breaks down, they can just move into a capital point. On the other side of it, it's going to be Sentinel starting to get more high ground control, looking back down on all of these fights, trying to third party, but have to be very careful. Meanwhile, in the thick of it, it's going to be NRG. Runs up, goes ahead and gets down, sniped down. Has to be careful. As you can see, it is just death and hellfire up in front of him.
Yeah, Nafin's been absolutely crutch here on the last 5 squads. The way that they played that is that early aggression in those 2 Arc Stars immediately made that team that had no cover have to back out and throw down the Gibraltar and bubble. So those cooldowns are now done as Rogue on the back end here getting absolutely dismantled by Sentinels. Energy still with the cover on the backside and has middle of circle, able to cover the top side. So in a really good position here and poised to look to take it as multiple teams, just too many options for Rocker. Doesn't know who to put down as he puts damage on a little bit of everything, spreading it across. So it's going to be Sentinels, Energy, another team on the back end side here on the east. And there's still one hiding somewhere. So not sure if McCarthy was able to stay alive for Shiny or if he is gone as well. But 303, the team underneath, and fully healthy. So trying to push up and use the cost of gas to their advantage.
This is such a complex section of the map to have the final circles go to. You can see there's a lot of verticality that's coming into play. There's a lot of these little, like, I guess, terrain points that kind of pop out that you can hide behind. You got to find these different angles to work with, but Sentinels have managed to kind of collapse back down. They've got themselves a safe point for now, but they have to be very cautious as they don't have a lot of good options to move forward. Around the side of it, it's going to be 303 continuing to harass, just dropping down, taking a couple of shots, trying to see if they can connect into with anything. Looks like we're kind of having an own independent fight that's happening off towards the side of this. NRG is going to have to be a little bit careful as they are going to have to move up and forward, but they have the wall to work with. Moving forward, they've got control over the zone, and a lot of these teams are going to be having to come towards them. They know where at least 2 are if they've been hearing a firefight happening in front.
The only downfall pushing up that closest, they are giving up a little bit of the high ground, so might still want to keep someone up back there just for the capabilities, but it looks like Sentinels, they realize that they're trapped down there, so 2 players going down, they're going to just give all of their meds to 1 player who's just going to try to heal it out for placement. Got 303 here. Energy on the gatekeep. Just seeing if they can spread out and find somebody on the backside. They end up jumping over the top. Nafin able to put some damage down. Another one using that phase in that portal. Bunch of damage here from Rocker, who's been putting so much damage down with that Prowler with the attachment. Full auto getting returned here on Frex. Needs to back off. 303 on the outside, able to cover a different angle. Shots going down. Energy getting dropped down as well. The Mastiff being absolutely crucial. Able to do some damage, but needs to reload, so gonna have to back off. Only gets 1 slug back in the chamber, and it does not matter. 303 with the angle. Able to approach this collectively and get the victory.
303 heard me say apparently that we haven't had a chance to watch them a whole bunch, walking away with a